will be hitting our last page here, which is, of course, the disposition page. This is where we are deciding what we need to do with this case. So depending, again, on your configurations, you may have some different options in the dropdown, but these are the general options here: accept case, reject, leave it pending, or accept and close. The accept and close is going to, of course, do the exact same thing as accept. So it's going to open up the case, but it is going to automatically launch you right into the closing form instead of bringing you to the case profile. So generally used for programs that do just some brief advice. They want to count it as an open and closed case, but they don't need to do anything further after the intake process. They just give their advice and then can just close it automatically. We again also have that reject option. So if I somehow came all the way to this step, maybe I saw on my LLC step that it wasn't LLC eligible, and so I didn't want to accept the case, I can't open it, I could reject it from here. It's also important to note that you can reject your intake along the way. So if I were on the financial information page, and let's say that this particular income was not excluded, so now we are at 159% of poverty, and I cannot help this person. So what I would want to do is, if I want to save the information on this page, I still want to click my continue button at the bottom. Again, like we talked about earlier, if I need to save everything here, we still want to continue. But once I get to that next page, instead of going on and just completing the rest of my intake and asking a bunch of questions that to the client, even though I know I can't help them, once I save that information, I can come up here to my actions menu, and I'll just start to type in my keyword box. And I can go to this link here to reject the application. Again, that's going to launch me right into my rejection form. I'll have to choose things like the reason over income or whatever it might be. And then it would reject that case. We're going to jump back to our disposition form here. And we're going to go ahead and leave our case as pending. So that is, of course, another option. If we're not quite sure if we can open up the case yet, maybe we need to have an internal meeting about it. But of course, we don't want to reject it yet either. We have to choose the office and program. Sometimes those will default, again, just based on your configuration. You always have to set a primary assignment. Whether we're leaving it pending or accepting the case, we have to choose the primary. And it has to be a staff person, of course. And then we've got our funding code as well. Now, in this particular disposition form, we also have our additional assignment block. So if we know of a co-counsel or volunteer assignment already, again, we could make that assignment at this time as well. If we are making an additional assignment, we'll get a note box, as well as the option to send that out as an email. So if we want to let demo admin know that we are assigning them to this case, we could automatically send that email out here. And then lastly, before our notes, we've got our case status. It's pretty typical to have this on the disposition page. A lot of programs will default this to a certain value that every case being opened up or set to pending should have. So in our demo site here, of course, you can see it's defaulting to awaiting pro bono placement, but that could be whatever value makes sense for your program. We'll hit continue one last time,